Yo, what is up guys? I'm bringing you a brand new video and welcome to my ultimate PvE guide for Awakening Berserker. I'm going to be taking you guys through skill add-ons, taking you through how to pull monsters, as well as the general PvE combo you're going to want to do against a lot of mid-game all the way up into high-end monsters. And we're also going to talk a little bit about a new player and what they should do if they have very low skill points or if they're not even level 56 yet. So starting off with the skill add-ons, the most important ones are going to be the extra damage to monsters on Frenzied Destroyer and the attack speed bonus on ground lifting. All of these other add-ons are more PvP focused. Some of them do apply in PvE, but in general the most important ones here are going to be FD, Frenzied Destroyer, having the monster damage, as well as ground lifting, having the attack speed. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the abilities that are very wide AoEs to pull monsters together. Now, you would think that this is a useful thing, or useless thing to talk about, but certain monsters at Star's End are super specific when it comes to what abilities you should be using. And it can actually increase the amount of trash you get by quite a significant margin, knowing exactly what you need to do. So the abilities are going to be Fearsome Tyrant, you've got Frenzied Tyrant, and then you've also got so Fearsome Tyrant, Frenzied Tyrant, and Beast Roar. Those are going to be your three abilities that are going to help a lot with pulling big AoEs. So Fearsome Tyrant is cancelable with Shake Off. So you go up to a pack, use Shift Q, and then Shake Off, and it's going to pull two packs together. You've also got Beast Roar, which you can use and has big AoEs, right? Very useful. And then, of course, you got Frenzied Tyrant, which also has very large AoEs. All these big shockwaves in this large area actually pulls monsters together. So it's pretty freaking nice. Those are the main three abilities to pull. If those three are on cooldown, you can use Flamebuster, of course. Flamebuster is another useful one. I usually put Flamebuster on hotbar, and you can tap LMB, RMB, and then your Flamebuster hotkey. Shoot over there, pull two packs together. Pretty nice. Now, let's talk about the pre-buff that you're going to want to do before every pack, and then we're going to talk about the highest DPS abilities in the game. So, the pre-buff you want to do before every pack is 2 autos, Frenzied Destroyer, ground lifting. And look at all the buffs it gives. You get 20% critical hit, you get 20% monster damage, 16 AP, and then you get... So let's try that again. Right, so you get 20% crit, 7% attack, you get 20 monster damage, 5 seconds of attack speed, and then melee AP plus 16. So just by doing those three abilities, you get all these pre-buffs, and you can use those as much as you want because there is no cooldown whatsoever. So it's really super nice, and that is the reason why you choose the add-ons that you do. So while the packs are grouping up, that's going to be your bread and butter. You're always going to do 2 autos, Frenzy Destroyer, ground lifting before every single pack. Now, the next thing is the highest DPS abilities that are in the game. So while the mobs are moving towards you, Devastation and Earth Divide is the next thing you want to do. They will start hitting the mobs as they're running towards you because the AoE is pretty large. Right? So as soon as you do your 2 autos, Frenzy Destroyer, ground lifting, you go straight into doing Devastation and Earth Divide. Once that's done, here's probably the most important thing that separates really fast PvEers and really slow PvEers. The ability to get back attacks. So once you do Devastation, get used to using Evasion, which is just Shift A or Shift D. That has pass-through on mobs, which allows you to get to the back of them, and then you can use General Disarray as well as Seismic Blast to get back attacks and really destroy the mobs, and then you go straight into Slugfest. So I'll show you what that looks like in real time here. So we get the mobs together, right? We use big AoE ability, get the mobs together. You're then going to do 2 autos, Frenzy Destroyer, ground lifting, going into Devastation, Evasion, General Disarray, Seismic Blast, into Slugfest. That is going to be your very standard PvE combo that you're going to want to do. And that's really what it comes down to. So, that is going to be your standard PvE combo. If, for whatever reason, that doesn't kill the pack, the next thing you want to do is go into a Furl Rage. Furl Rage is a very, very good filler skill. It does have a 22-second cooldown, so it is a little bit, you know, not the lowest cooldown in the world, but it still will work. And that's going to look like this. So you do your 2 autos, Frenzy Destroyer, Ground Lifting, you go into Devastation, you do Evasion, General Disarray, into your Slugfest, and then you start spinning. You're only going to want to spin up until your buffs start disappearing. Once they disappear, it is now time to go back into your regular DPS abilities. Right? So once those debuffs disappear, you want to go back into your regular DPS abilities, because spin doesn't do a lot of damage unless it has its pre-buffs. So very, very important that you're keeping those up. So yeah. The other thing that you want to do in PvE as well is Ancient Wave and Split Shot. So if you don't have your spin available and the mobs are still tanky, you do 2 autos, Frenzy Destroyer, Ground Lifting, you go into Devastation, Evasion, right? General Disarray, Seismic Blast, Slugfest, and then you can do Ancient Wave Split Shot as a finisher. Now, let's say that everything was on cooldown and you're wondering, man, what do I do? I've already done my main bread and butter PvE combos, and I don't really know what to do next. Well, Frenzy Destroyer, Ground Lifting into Blasting is really, really good damage that has pretty much 0 cooldown. And you won't need to do, like, you know, anything else other than just those abilities. Okay. Bear with me as I PvP this guy. Alright, so if you run out of cooldowns and you're kind of worried, like you don't know what to do, you can always default to Old Faithful. Old Faithful is, you get your auto attacks up, C-swap, right? C-swap, Frenzy Destroyer, Ground Lifting, Blasting. C-swap, Frenzy Destroyer, Ground Lifting, Blasting. C-swap, Frenzy Destroyer, Ground Lifting, Blasting. You can do this forever, and it won't change. Like, you'll be totally fine no matter what. So yeah, if you ever run out of cooldowns and you're panicking, just know that you always have that as an option. You can always just do 2 autos, Frenzy Destroyer, Ground Lifting, Blasting. C-swap, Frenzy Destroyer, Ground Lifting, Blasting. Really, really good filler on your PvE skill when things aren't working out. Now, that's pretty much the only thing to talk about. Like, that's virtually the last thing to talk about. You know, the combo is there. You always start off with 2 autos, Frenzy Destroyer, Ground Lifting. You then go into Devastation. You do Evasion, General Disarray, Seismic Blast, and then you either go into a spin or you go into an Ancient Wave, depending on which is on cooldown or whatever. And then if you need more filler damage, you then just use Frenzy Destroyer, Ground Lifting, Blasting over and over and over again until the pack is dead. That is generally what you're going to want to do. Or you keep on doing that until your Devastation comes back. Once your Devastation comes back, you'll be able to basically reset the combo and just have an infinite loop. Now let's talk a little bit about the PvE that you should be using on a pre-level 56 Berserker, or if you don't have a lot of skill points. Now, if you don't have a lot of skill points, Elastic Force is super good. In Elastic Force, you can just do auto attacks, and it does quite a lot of damage. You never want to hold it for the 4th hit. This last hit right here doesn't do anything. It's hardly any damage. So you're going to want to, like, do this, let off, do this, let off, right? That's really good for killing, like, Polly's Forest or new mobs or, like, you know, little field bosses, whatever. Very useful for that. Once you start getting skill points, you're going to want to spec into stuff like, you know, your Raging Thunder. You're going to want to spec into your Frenzy Destroyer and pretty much just do spins. You know, as many spins as you can, killing mobs. Frenzy Destroyer as well as Shift A and Shift D. right? Also very useful to be able to do that. And that's really all you're going to need for early game PvE. Once you hit 56, you'll then move on to getting your basic, your basic devastation, your basic general disarray, your ground lifting, ancient wave, split shot, seismic blast, slugfest. All these are going to be great abilities for your PvE. Once you hit 56 and you have any really amount of skill points, it's going to surpass those first two abilities that I talked about. And that's pretty much it, guys. Like, that is, in a nutshell, everything you really need to know about Berserker PvE. And I hope that you guys found this video useful. If you guys have any questions or concerns about anything, you can always hit me up in the comments. But that's really all that you need to know. Hopefully I didn't babble on too much. I got a little distracted by the PvP. But yeah, you guys should be a better PvEer by the end of this video on Berserker. So hopefully you guys found this useful. If you guys did, make sure you guys subscribe for more future videos on Berserker, Striker, and just general BDO. We're trying to get 10,000 followers this year, or 10,000 subscribers this year on Twitch. So if you would help me with that, I'd be forever grateful. But other than that, we'll see you guys all in the next video, and thanks for watching. Peace.